As a trans woman, I spend a lot of time quite frustrated about my body and where it's at and what I actually want it to be. I think we spend so much time frustrated with the way that we compare ourselves to other people, especially on social media, and we moralize that shit and beat ourselves up as if we're just doing something so wrong and as if we're like just so fucked up and so broken. And I honestly think we don't give ourselves enough credit for just living and just working through who we are and who we want to be and how we feel about ourselves and how much we do or don't love ourselves. Like, I don't think there's supposed to be some perfect state where we just never see someone else or we never look online and we never feel a certain way about ourselves and we never wish that we were someone else or that we were further along than we currently are. I think we spend far too much time getting mad at ourselves for that, as if there's some perfect version of this where we just wake up one day and we just never do that ever again. I mean, if social media never existed, yes, we wouldn't see nearly as many people. We may not compare ourselves nearly as much, but we would still find people in our lives to admire and to compare ourselves to and to measure ourselves against, both in how we show up, in how we think, in how we work, and just like in how we love ourselves and how we feel about our bodies. And I just don't think it's supposed to be this perfect thing that we make it out to be. Like, it's just something that a lot of us struggle with. And it's, I think, just part of this human experience. And we don't give nearly enough credit for that experience and the messiness that it is. We don't allow ourselves almost ever to accept that. And we just always think we're fucking something up and doing something wrong. Yes, there's a difference between constantly hating yourself and constantly ruminating versus like seeing yourself in the mirror and thinking for a few moments, like, oh, I wish that was a little different. And then like moving on with your day and like getting back to the moment and like continuing to enjoy that. And I'm not saying if you are ruminating on it or if you're not enjoying yourself or your life at all or your body at all that there's just something really fucking wrong with you. But I think that most of us are enjoying our lives to some extent. I think that most of us have moments of loving ourselves and loving our bodies. I think that we don't give ourselves enough credit for those moments because we so badly want to stop feeling what we're feeling and we just want to feel okay all the time. But I just don't think that's realistic. I don't think that we're ever going to feel okay all the time. I don't think that we're not going to have moments where we feel like there's something wrong with us, or we feel like we're not worthy, or we're not good enough, or we're not as like hot as we want to be, or we just don't feel like that thing that, we're just not like feeling ourselves like that. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think that's meant to be a thing. And I get why it's so frustrating. I would love to just wake up one day and to never think about that ever again. Yeah, sure, in a sense, maybe it's something to strive towards. Like, that acceptance, if I could wake up and never feel that again, would be really beautiful. If I could just constantly be grateful for my body, that would feel so amazing. But I just don't think it's realistic. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try for those things. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to show up with more love and more care and more empathy and compassion for ourselves. It just means that there's no reason to show up with this thought of like, it has to be all the time or there's something wrong with me and like I'm fucking doing it wrong and I'm comparing myself too much and like what a fucking idiot. Like we all talk to ourselves like that. And why? Why do we even do that? Why are we so hard on ourselves? And I'm trying to be lighthearted about that because this is not permission. Like, I am not giving you permission to go beat yourself up more than you already are. I'm just trying to to make sense of how silly it is because we're just in such a messy human experience. And like most of the time, we're beating ourselves up because of shit someone said on the internet. And yeah, it sounds really good when someone's like, delete your Instagram or stop following certain, profiles or like stop comparing yourself to other people. Like, we feel the truth in that. We feel the truth in the idea of the self love and the letting go of all of the bullshit that we normally compare ourselves to and that we're normally like thinking in our own heads. But there's a difference between feeling the truth of that and allowing yourself to accept where you're at and how much you struggle with that and how messy that feels, than to just be so constantly mad at yourself and striving for something that maybe you'll never reach. That's almost the worst form of the comparison. Just recognizing that someone else is something that you might want to strive for, that you might want to find the own version of what that is for you. Like, as an example, like, I want a lot more tattoos. I only have one. I'm so frustrated that I only have one, but ultimately, like, I feel very dysphoric and dysmorphic when I have too much fucking body hair. And that's not because society says that women shouldn't have that. I just genuinely don't feel good with it on my body. Like, I don't even feel super great right now. And it's like 2 or 3 days after the last time that I fucking shaved. Like, that sucks. So, like, eventually I'm going to get like laser or whatever. Like, I'm going to do something about that. And like, that's my own real version of that. That's not me just doing it because somebody else told me to. Like, that's genuinely how I feel, and like what would make me feel comfortable and like feel good in my own body. And so like, it sucks when I see someone with a lot of tattoos to not think like, fuck, I would be so much hotter if I had that. Like, that's because that's the image that I have of like my true self or whatever you want to call that in my head. But like, I can't go around feeling, that in every single moment and just like hating myself for not having that. Because if I had the money for the laser and if I had the money for the tattoos, it would have happened already. Like, at least the laser would have happened already because I've had enough time to get it done everywhere at this point since I started feeling that way nearly 3 years ago now. So you know, like, you just have to like allow yourself to feel those things. But like, as soon as I finish this video, I'm not going to be ruminating on that. And like, that's the difference. Like, I'm accepting that it's messy. I'm accepting the fact that like, yeah, would it be more ideal if I just found a way to like be grateful and like love myself for like the way that I am, or to like love the fact that maybe I have like healthy hair growth or whatever? Yeah, it probably fucking would be better. But that's just not how I feel. That's not a place that I'm realistically going to get to. So I'm going to desire it to be different. I'm going to desire for the hair to be gone completely, but I'm going to hold that lightly. I'm not going to grasp at it. I'm not going to hate myself every single moment for it. I'm not going to spend every waking moment constantly thinking about that. But I'm just going to acknowledge the fact that like, it's there. It's something that I feel that's very real. It's something that I want. And that's the difference. That's how lighthearted we can be with this. That's how we can hold this. We can be open to the fact that, like, we're just messy. We're not fucking perfect. And, like, I know that's really fucking hard to hear because so many of us have developed different versions of perfectionism in our lives. And many of us are way better about that than we used to be, but like, it's still something that we very much struggle with. It's still something that I struggle with. So like, I get it. It's really fucking hard sometimes, but like, ultimately, like, you don't need to spend all day beating yourself up just because you're comparing yourself to other people. Like, that's just something that's probably going to happen because you have an ego and because you're a human and it's a messy experience and you're not perfect. And so like, why don't you try to give yourself more credit for that instead of seeing someone on Instagram that you wish you were more like and then getting really fucking mad at yourself for it? What is that going to do? How is that actually getting you anywhere? How is that actually helping you become the person that you actually want to be? I know, at least for me, it doesn't work that way, and I don't think it does for anyone else either.